Okay, this question comes to us from Robert DeVenter. And Robert, we hear from a lot of people in a similar situation. Robert is a freshman in college, getting a degree in exercise science and also studying business administration. And he asked Dave, he says, when I graduate, I want to start a gym for athletes. I don't want the soccer moms who want to get into their spring bikini body, which is great, but that is not the people group I am targeting. The gym would be where high school and college athletes can come any time of year, off season or in season, and train to become champions. And they'd be trained by Robert and a team of ex-athletes who are now coaches with college degrees that he wants to assemble. His question is a gym like this marketable? And what are some of the steps that he can take to make himself more successful?
Anything's marketable. I mean, years ago when I was a kid, people were selling fake shit and pet rocks and making millions. So anything's marketable. So to answer that question, yeah. How do you go about accomplishing what he wants to accomplish? He's already got a little bit of a vision established. Just keep building on what that vision is and build on, it's called a SWOT analysis. Do a SWOT analysis to determine what the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and tendencies are for the market that you're looking at, and see what your own personal strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and tendencies are as well, and then work from there. So you have you're an exercise science major, which is great because that's going to give you the background and the technical aspects, and you're a business minor, which is also great, which is going to give you the basics on how to build on. But you have to start looking at how to pull those all together for what you want to accomplish, and better define what you want to accomplish. I heard a lot of what you don't want. You don't want the soccer moms, you don't want this, you don't want that. And I only heard a little bit about what you do want, which is, athletes. Well, what kind of athletes, and what level of athletes? And, I heard of the coaches and defined as ex-athletes. Well, is that really going to be the coach that you want? You can't loosely define who your target market's going to be. You got to tightly define who that's going to be. And you can't loosely define what your staff is going to be, ex-coaches, because that's not going to be the best way to find the best person to fit that role. You have to determine what is that role actually going to be, what are their job responsibilities going to be, what skills are they going to be required that they actually have to have, not that you want them to have. What do they have to have? Because you can find somebody that has everything that you want, but then I would call that somebody who's overqualified to do the work you need to work, and then your payroll is so high it's going to cost you $1,000 an hour for every athlete. So better define who that target market's going to be, who the staff is going to be, and what you actually want the business to be. And finally, what you want the business to mean, because it can't just be you want a business because you want a business. There's got to be an underlying purpose or aim for what that business is, and it has to be something that's very tight with you and close to you, that will be able to help you get through all the adversity that's out there. So determining what that primary aim is, and then better defining those other things would be the advice I would give at this stage. And keep studying. Even after you graduate, you have to continue to study.
Okay, and the soccer mom route would probably be the financially easier route to go.
I wouldn't say that's true. There's a lot of people who set up shop that can't get any client, and they'll go after the soccer moms or whoever they can be. And the worst thing that I think that you can do is to try to be everything to everybody. And I think a lot of trainers that get into that situation, that's what they try to do. They open shop if they have a gym, or however they're doing it, they're going to take everybody because they need the income. I think that's okay if you're working for somebody else and you're working in the club. That way it can help better establish, is this who you really want to train? You want to train athletes, you want to train athletes to make them better. Fine, I understand that. Do you also want to deal with the negative components of training athletes, which there are? And those negative components are going to not be the same negative components that you would have with the soccer moms and so forth. So there's pros and cons of every target market. So you need to know what they are. So I guess another bit of advice I would give is maybe you want to work for somebody else for a while so you can feel out what market you really do want to be in. Because what you think you want to be may not always be what you really desire to be once you get into the field. Because once you get into the field, trust me, it's never what you think it is. You know, everybody thinks it's going to be great and this is awesome, and then all of a sudden it's like, man, this sucks. You know, 80% of my clients suck, and typically that's probably the way it's going to be if it's athletes or not. So.
Now, let me ask you, he talks about the team of coaches, and you have more experience with this than me. I can't think of any prominent facilities like this that has a bunch of people that you identify with it. Like you think of a DeFranco gym, you don't think of, I can't name any of the other coaches he has there. I'm sure he has some people helping him that are good, but it's kind of a Joe DeFranco. Or Ferrugia, you've got, you know, with the fighters he works with, I'm sure he has people working with him. So what do you think of the marketing with a team of coaches? Is that a difficult thing to put together?
No, I just think it's how you're going to brand your company, how you're going to brand what it is. You know, I could have called, you know, the company Dave Tate Sports Equipment or whatever you want to call it years ago, but I decided against that because I didn't want to have a company that was going to be just me. I wanted a company that was going to be a whole bunch of other people trying to help others. So thus, we decided to go with a name that wasn't tied to my name in any way whatsoever. There's advantages and, once again, disadvantages to having your own name. You know, one advantage is if your name's on the sign, all the customers always know if the shit hits the fan who to go to. You know, that is an advantage. It could be a disadvantage, but it's an advantage. At the same time, it's going to lock you in to the valuation of what that company is, which has some disadvantages if you ever want to go on to something else, sell the company, grow the company, you know, have it valued more than what it is. So there's pros and cons. So if it's a team aspect, then I would brand it as a team aspect. You know, to use another name, it would be, you know, Cosgrove with Result Fitness. You know, when Alan was sick, he didn't go to work for a year. You know, and the business grew. So that's because it's not Alan Cosgrove's training center. Yeah. You know, it's Results Fitness, and it's the program and it's the training that does that. Right now, I think the most popular franchise in the country is Zumba. Well, you don't know who owns that, and you don't know who any of the trainers are, but yet it's the most popular franchise that's out there. So team concept can definitely work. If I personally had to choose one or the other, I would choose a team concept because I think long term that gives you more freedom and it gives you more creativity because you can utilize your people better, and you're not going to end up with a group of people who may become really good, you know, underneath you, but then everything's associated with your name, but they want to build their name, so their only recourse is to leave. You know, to be able to do that. And you'll still run in that in any team concept as well. But it's a lot easier on the trainers underneath you when they're trying to build a brand and it's something they can get behind instead of they're trying to help you build your name. You know, and so it's a personal preference of mine. So it's the individual's choice who opens a business. There's pros and cons, and I would definitely look at both.
Okay. Thank you, Robert, and good luck with that.